Okay. All right, let's get into this. So, our first and only review of the day is going to be for the movie They Will Kill You. They Will Kill You is a movie starring Zazie Beetz. Say people might know Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz been in things
Mhm.
like Atlanta, the hit show there, made by Donald Glover. She's also was in Deadpool 2 as Domino there as well.
Mhm.
So Zazie Beetz in there plays a housekeeper there who goes to this very nice, very, very nice regal vintage hotel called the Virgil there in New York. But then once she starts there, being the housekeeper there, she is accepting this new job. She realizes, oh, something's kind of weird going on in this place here. These people seem kind of very off, and it's more than
Mhm.
them being rich billionaires.
Yeah,
There's
it's more
something
than just being, like, out of touch rich people.
There's something more sinister going on here. And that's kind of the initial setup you have. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil some of the
Mhm.
other things in the movie here. But yeah, people might see this movie and immediately the kind of thought of seeing this was like, oh, this is very much something like Ready or Not,
Mhm.
The Raid, also something like Kill Bill as well, especially when you see a lot of like when she kills people and blood, it's
Oh,
like blood spurts out and it's like a sprinkler when you see that kind of happen there. And I know I mentioned Deadpool 2. Zazie Beetz has done the action role.
mhm.
That was an action role that she did, but this is much more in the vein of something like a John Wick, much more something like a Nobody there, where she's taking a lot of big hits, getting damaged really hard, and trying to
Yeah,
get back up.
she is getting it just as much as she is giving it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. She tries to keep going there, and keep trying to survive. Nick, what were your thoughts on They Will Kill You?
Yeah, so this is, pretty much we've seen this kind of movie before, uh, you know, the evils of the ultra wealthy, but I don't think any of the movies are as much fun as this. And we're watching this, you see a lot of the influences, you see a lot of like Kill Bill, a lot of Ready or Not, The Raid. Um, but I feel like the director on this, Kirill Sokolov, he adds like a freshness and an energy, especially in how he's shooting the action, that makes this feel like vibrant and so much fun to watch.
Mm. I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, I mean, because looking at, I was kind of excited to see this,
Mhm,
especially after being disappointed by Ready or Not 2,
mhm.
and I was like, okay, is this going to kind of live up to my expectations of that? Especially, I don't want to be disappointed like I was with the action movie that came out last year, Love Hurts. Where I was
Mhm,
kind of like, oh man, I was expecting so much more from that. This one I think it doesn't disappoint me at least. I did have a great time with this movie, and I think in terms of how creative it is with the director and his kind of tone and style with this. There are really great shots in this movie. Like when you saw
mhm.
one shot where they're crawling through like kind of
Yeah,
the vents
going
and
through
everything.
like
Like
the crawl spaces of this hotel.
yeah, like that's really shot really cool.
Mhm,
The scenes there where she's in a crawl space, there is really good there. Like that's really fun. The shots of where you see some of the action there, that's really done very well there. So it's more than just like, okay, hey, you got some fun action here. I think there's also
mhm,
a good creativity and style to it
mhm.
that even though it has these influences, like we mentioned before, I think it still is able to find its own identity and carve itself out
Mhm.
there amongst all the other kind of movies we named there. Is that what you're thinking there?
Yeah, very much so. It uses a lot of similar beats to other action horror kind of comedy films, but the style I think is what separates this. Like you were talking about with the whole set piece in the crawl space, and even the one that I think you see briefly in the trailer, where it's almost like in complete darkness, that it's only illuminated by this like flaming axe that Zazie Beetz is holding.
Yeah. And we mentioned a lot of movies as well there. And if you're a video game player, I think you also kind of very notice some things like that as far as video games there
Mhm,
as well. Like a video game that it was really reminding me of very well was a video game I played and was a fan of there.
mhm.
And I wonder, did you ever play this? Seafood there.
Oh yes, yes, I love this game.
And this is basically like just a action game here. You just
Mhm.
go through,
Yeah,
beat the shit out of people.
yeah, this is a love letter to the action genre.
There's even a reference to Old Boy in this
Mhm,
game here, and there's even some shots there because you see like the hallways of the hotel
mhm,
where it's very much like the camera and like the wall is kind of taken out, so you're seeing it kind of from that perspective there of like that old boy type shot there, that look, which I thought was very good, and I thought that was very well done there. And Zazie Beetz is very, convincing. You know what I mean? Like I said, she takes those hits and she kind of keeps going there. And when we learn how she got her skills there, I'm glad they didn't do something like, oh, well, she's a former Ranger, Army,
No,
Airborne. It's like, they do kind of
no,
like, so
she went
how'd
to
you learn?
prison. No,
Like
she
she
went to
was,
prison. She fights dirty.
yeah, it's like, she learned from the school of literally hard knocks. Like she literally, learned from there of like how to fight there. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they did that as well there. What do you think about some of the other actors in the movie? That you have Patricia Arquette there, who is the
Mhm.
manager of the hotel there. For me, it seemed like her accent was kind of going in and out. It seemed like she would try to say some words because she's supposed to be Irish. It seemed
Yeah,
like she was trying to say some.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's supposed to be an Irish character, and I thought that was it's a choice that once you know more about the satanic cult that runs this hotel, it's a choice that worked for me once I understood like kind of the rules of how this cult works.
Yeah. The only problem with her for me, I just feel like the accent kind of goes in and out.
Mhm.
Like sometimes I feel like she would say some words like, oh, and then it's like she had to remember, oh shit, wait, I'm Irish. Oh fuck, right. I gotta have
Well,
an Irish accent.
well, to be fair, another great movie like Sinners with Jack O'Connell, that Irish accent does kind of come in and out, but it's used to like emphasize the mask that that character is putting on. And I kind of felt the same way here with Patricia Arquette.
Interesting. I gotta go back and watch this, see if I
Mhm.
catch that. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. You also have Tom Felton in this movie. Speaking about, we did a Harry Potter, he's in there. So I'm good to see that he's in something else, man. You don't have to
Mhm.
be Draco forever, man. You can expand, man.
Yeah,
Uh
he's one of the cultists. Heather Graham is another one, which yeah, I saw her at a MegaCon last weekend and god damn, still fine.
Yeah.
Mhm,
You also have a character in here called Maria Reeves, who's in this is played by Mahala there. People might know she was in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
mhm,
There, which I love that movie. I think that's really great there as well. So she has a bit in here. Her whole kind of character and story is a little spoilerish. I won't say too much about her, but I
mhm.
think she's also very good in the way kind of she works in it. But yeah, and this movie knows when to get in and get out. It's only an hour and 35 minutes. It perfectly executes its runtime. It knows what it's doing and it executes it perfectly. And I like that quite a bit about that movie. Do you
Mhm.
agree?
Yeah, very much so. This movie, it is, quick, it's mean, it's fun to watch, and that's really all you like need to ask for in like in a film like this.
Mm, yeah. And trying to think, I mean, like you mentioned the sequence, in the when they're doing like the reception hall or like
Mhm,
area like that, where it's like in darkness and she's got like you see it in the trailer, she's got the axe
mhm,
on fire, and that's a really cool sequence, how they do that. So it constantly kind of ramps up, and there's also something new to it as well there with it, which I like. It's not just the same kind of repetitive action scenes over and
mhm.
over and over again. Like there's all these different and new ways that she's kind of killing these people
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything
there's
like
like
that.
yeah, there's rules to like how this cult works that adds tension to all of the fight scenes. And it's like does a similar thing to Ready or Not where the cultists are all kind of incompetent, but it still doesn't let up on that tension in the action scenes.
Mm, yeah. So what will be your final thoughts rating for They Will Kill You?
Shit, I saw this at a Scream Unseen on Monday, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about this movie. This was, I think, a fantastic, great action film. This is you know, first time I'm seeing the work of the director Kirill Sokolov, who I'm definitely looking out for whatever he does next in some of his past work. Zazie Beetz, I feel like she is one of our kind of very underrated action stars, especially with this movie. The action, it's fantastic to watch, and yeah, this was just a damn good time. This is a strong tune in for me.
I agree. I also give it a strong tune in. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad, like I said, didn't disappoint there. It really paid off there on it. The only thing I kind of is like that I would kind of is a strong criticism for me is a little bit of the story with there's
Mhm,
like a husband and wife character in
mhm,
here, like Patricia Arquette and her husband, that's not really fully explored there, I think,
mhm,
all the way. And then also just the kind of I'm a little tired of the whole satanic Satanist kind of thing there. I
mhm,
think that's kind of like in horror stuff, and that's a little overdone. And this is kind of like a horror action kind of comedy movie.
mhm.
There's a little bit of that going on that I'm a little sick of, and it's like it's kind of repetitive. Um, I think, yeah, so that's kind of some of my 2 kind of criticism of it, but yeah, man, if you just want a great kind of beat 'em up movie, this is it. This is kind of one of the better action movies I've seen all year. This and Blades of the Guardians have been 2 of the
Mm,
better action movies I've seen this year. And I think you will have a good time for this. If you see this trailer and go like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely for me," then I think you won't be disappointed with that. Yeah, strong tune in for me as well there. I don't know if it'll be on my best of, but
mhm.
I think I do think it's very enjoyable and had a great time watching. I would own it on Blu-ray
Yeah,
when it
as
comes out.
yeah, as of right now, this is on my best of, but that can change throughout the year. But purely for just like fun spectacle, this is on my best of. And
Mm,
besides like the few great movies that we've seen so far this year, it's kind of been a little bit dry.
okay. So, 2 strong tune ins for They Will Kill You in theaters now there. Check it out there.